Hey everybody, old folks here. I think I may switch servers. I don't know. We'll see. To kind of go over this. This is the tier list for tanks. Now I'm not going to get into legendary tanks right now. That's another story in and of itself. I've got legendaries on both servers, but I'm going to be honest. I don't want to look at that. When we think about tanks, in-game really plays a huge role. Getting to the in-game plays a huge role. I think without breaking a sweat, for the most part, many would agree that in its current build, Jacob, Kaiser, and Chavez are the top three freebie guys out there. Just the sustainability of these two, and especially Chavez too, and the damage he can do, especially if it's like a 1-1-3 or a 1-2-2 or anything that puts somebody in the middle row with him. Oh man, the damage he can do to that team is just phenomenal. Kaiser's amazing with his taunt. You give him a agility, talent, captain skill, just gets crazy, especially when awoken. Jacob, again, once he's awoken, I'd say he becomes a beast, but he is a beast. Again, another phenomenal one. So these are kind of my top three tanks for free play. Now I have Poulon. I love Poulon. He does a great job too. I already did a video on Leon, his ability to taunt off your back row divers. You've seen a video with Sealy just taking it and keeps on going and heals herself. There's a lot of videos out there. Belvedere, he's a great guy later on, especially you combine him with an Uther. It's kind of this crazy wall of whatever you want to call it. Spar's not bad, kind of team specific. Usually requires an off tank to reach his full potential. Lee has some great Pagani plays. Loria, they changed her some, so I can't go, but she's usually pretty good against Magic teams. And Yuan is who he is, decent backliner, a lot of potential there. So let's start talking tiers. Obviously I mentioned my first three tier top guys are going to be these three here. From those guys then, especially late game, I'm going to go with a Poulon. I'm going to go with a Sealy, and I'm probably going to have an Uther and a Belvedere. These guys are late bloomers, level 90, start getting them Silver Star, Gold Star, Awoken. They become very powerful in their own. I talked to a guy that's got Malachi, level 90, Gold Star. And he says at that point he becomes just like a legendary. Well, that's great. I don't want to compare him. Somebody might ask me, well, why didn't you talk about him? Well, I'm not talking about legendaries or mysticals. Laura can be pretty good, but she's probably going to be my middle of the pack with a Yuan, a Leon, and I'd probably say Lee's probably my least used out of everybody. Some people build a dodge team, but he's probably the least used. I don't know if I'd put him below Spar, but I don't know. I mean, him and Spar are really at the bottom because I can get Jacob or Spar, and Jacob has so much more functionality. So people say, who should I focus on first? My answer to that is yes. Focus on more than one, because you're going to need more than one tank. I usually try to focus on a couple. So Jacob, Kaiser, even though I've got Monk Sung, I'm working on these guys because they're powerful and you need multiple tanks in different situations. Arena Wars, Crusades, Crystal Dungeon, there's lots of times you need multiple tanks. Hero Brawl. And so don't think, well, I've got one tank, I'm fine. It's not going to work well. So you take those three, kind of build those up. Focus on these other guys that we talked about. Poulon is pretty good for taking down your Kaiser teams, especially since he decreases his dodge when he hits. He just doesn't live well, so he needs a couple healers. These three down here really get powerful later on. Again, they take some more time. Leon and Laura, kind of a little bit more specific team builds, and then finally again Lee and Spar on the bottom. If you got any questions or comments or thoughts, again, I'm not building teams out of these. I'm just talking about kind of where they fall, especially in game, where I think they line up. Feel free to post them and comment. I hope this helps you. If you got any questions, again, please leave them. This is what it's all about, talking on them. So thanks guys, have a great one. Talk with y'all later.